Thank you guys for joining us today. We are going to be taking a look at the chapter officer election process. I am Ashley Mativier, and I am joined with my coworker, Alexia Kammer. Officer elections are such a fun and exciting time. It's just a change of leadership and a different transition of new leaders, and we're excited to go through this with you guys today. We are going to look at the process. We're going to review a couple tools for you to use during the officer transitions and trainings, snapshots of officer responsibilities, and we're also going to review a couple expectations we have for officers, and also a couple helpful hints along the way.
Let your chapter representative know, and we can go ahead and help you get those changed in your bylaws. As a reminder, any bylaw changes, whether it's related to the election process or anything else, has to be voted on by a quorum, and that is 1/3 of your chapter members plus one officer present. So we'll go ahead and dive into this slide. We recommend that the elections are held in March or April. A call for nominations can be done either in late February or early March. And this is just to ensure that there's enough time for training and transition because, the new officers will be coming and the old officers will be going out. So you have about a month left of school before the end of the spring semester. Officers will hold one term, and to us, that is the academic year. So that falls from the fall semester through the spring semester. Chapter advisors should be present so they can advise and supervise to make sure all the counting and voting is done fairly. As a reminder, any member in good standing, this is with the university, academically, their dues are paid, everything like that is all good to go, they are able to be nominated. A couple other helpful tips to remember. Additional officers can be found on page 12 in the chapter manual. So if you have a member in your chapter who is just a little social media guru, they love Facebook and Instagram, you can create a special position for them. We have the Director of Communications, or they can be the Director of Information Systems. Once again, though, this must be approved by your chapter before you put it in the bylaws.
And this is actually a great recruitment tool as well, because let's say that you are all in business school and none of you are really tech savvy or social media savvy. This is a great opportunity for you to be networking with other departments on campus, so you can have a presentation with the School of Mass Communications or with marketing or with accounting to kind of recruit those officers that will help you excel in these areas that your existing team may not be subject matter experts in.
That's a really good point. As a reminder, a quorum is 1/3 of members plus one officer. If any executive decisions are being made, an executive quorum would constitute as 3 officers being present. And on page 23 in your officer manual, we have some additional officer and election recommendation guidelines, so you guys can check that out in your officer manual. A couple tools we'd like to share for newly elected officers. The StudentCPT chapter manual is your go-to place to go. If you have any questions about chapter operations, that should be your first place. Flash chats also. So we have a number of different flash chats like this, others pertaining to membership and recruitment, social media, fundraising. We have a number of different topics we look at, so that's another good way that you can train your newly elected officers. Also, your chapter account representatives, reach out to us if you guys have any questions throughout the year. We do those monthly contacts, but feel free to contact us whenever. We also have some online resources for advisors and students. And then if you go to robertsrules.org, we recommend Robert's Rules of Order to use during the election process, but that's not mandatory. Executive Council responsibility. So this constitutes anyone and everyone who is on the Executive Council. Obviously, in addition to the duties that are outlined in their corresponding positions, we ask the following: that they serve as a liaison between the advisor, the national office, student organization, so whether it's Campus Life that kind of looks at all the clubs, or Student Life, they're a liaison with them, and the rest of the student members. They assist in developing activities, they attend events, they help out with the promotion of events, recruitment, they help collect dues, and any other information that we need here at the national office. They also train newly elected officers. Sometimes this is kind of forgotten about, so we just want to make sure that we are emphasizing that. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the 4 main officers: chapter president, VP, treasurer, and secretary. And here is a chapter president snapshot. So they preside over all the meetings, and they act as the chairman of the executive council. They're responsible for updating the bylaws. They shall appoint chairpersons for committees. They serve as the main contact for CPT staff and other university contacts, and they communicate to officers and chapter members regularly. So this is just kind of an overview of what is also outlined in the chapter manual on page 12. Vice president, they shall perform any duties in the absence of the chapter president. They're responsible for coordinating these chapter events calendar. So whether that's meetings, that's fundraising, community service, or any other chapter-related events. They oversee any activity of the member director of corporate relations, director of communications, director of student relations, and director of membership. They all kind of fall under the VP. And they must have at least 2 years to serve. So the first one is obviously serving as vice president, and then what we recommend is having the second year to serve as chapter president, and that's only if the performance is satisfactory. So the chapter advisor can determine that. Secretary Snapshot. So they are responsible for taking all the minutes, for distributing any meeting agendas, and also creating the agendas, for circulating any sign-in or sign-up sheets, and they also help make announcements. They can oversee the activities of the director of the IT systems or communication. And then the treasurer snapshot. Let's take a look at this. They are responsible for distributing and managing chapter funds, and we will be reaching out to you guys several times throughout the year, just kind of giving you an update about where your chapter looks balance-wise. So we'll be talking to the treasurers, like I said, a couple times a year. And they're also responsible for establishing a budget. So we just want to share a couple best practices from some things that we've heard throughout this year and previous years about what our students are doing around chapter elections. Lipscomb, they are holding an officer reveal party, so this will be really fun. I'm really excited for this. This is actually going to be the beginning of April, and so once all of the students, are elected officers, they're going to have a big party and celebrate them.
Another great example is our Creighton chapter up in Omaha, Nebraska. They actually have induction ceremonies for their officers. They are one of our newest chapters. They're only 2 years old, but they've really been rocking and rolling and just excelling and being great examples among their chapter peers. So what the induction ceremony constitutes, they actually got the business schools to sponsor it in full, so they didn't have to pay for anything, and they just invited important people in their community, such as the accounting executive director from NASBA, the NASBA liaison, and just a couple of other members in the community. And it's just a great opportunity to celebrate the officers. And I mean, this is a big deal. This is great for you, for your resume. You are taking advantage of this great opportunity and just putting yourself ahead of the game. And this induction ceremony is a really special way to just celebrate these new officers. And anyone can be invited. At Creighton's induction ceremony specifically, it was just students, club members, and maybe just any other friends, and as well as these special community members that I mentioned. But you're free to tailor this to any way that is convenient for you, if you want to do it on campus or off campus. And we actually have a script and guidelines for you in the manual, and that information can be found on page 21.
Yeah, that is really cool that they're doing that. I think that's really neat. We just want to kind of go over a couple expectations that we have from our officers. So whether you are the director of communications, whether you are the chapter president, these are just a couple expectations that we have. Email responses within 48 hours or 2 business days. We have a lot of things going on here at the national office, and we like to make sure everything is organized and we're keeping up with your chapters. So, communication goes both ways, so please make sure you're helping us out with those responses. You are also responsible for training incoming officers, and understanding and commitment to complying with chapter performance levels. So at the beginning of the year, I hope all chapters, really strive for that golden star status, and so really just making sure you're familiar with everything that goes into becoming a golden star chapter. Maintaining responsibility for the items listed in your officer description, completing reports on time, and if you have any questions about due dates, about reports, or where you can find reports, you can visit our website or reach out to your chapter account rep. And also keeping good faith in the StudentCPT and NASBA CPT. You are representing not only your StudentCPT chapter, but the NASBA Center for the Public Trust. So just keeping good faith, and if you have any specific questions about that, feel free to reach out to us.
And just as a general reminder, I know there's a lot of times you may feel overwhelmed and that this may be a lot, but it's actually not. We're trying our hardest to just have everything as streamlined as possible for all of you. All of the forms that you need to complete already exist. They are really easy to complete. It's just 1 or 2, maybe 3 steps if you include a picture. And we just want to make things easy for you. This is supposed to be a good experience, not extra work. What we pride ourselves at the CPT is just giving our students an easy resource, easy in terms of work and load heavy, not easy in terms of taking it for granted.
That's right.
But we just want to give you guys resources that are convenient for you. So just keep that in mind when you are thinking, well, I kind of want to be a secretary, but I don't want to create forms. You don't have to. We have them for you.
Mm-hmm. We've got it covered. Yeah. And then here are a couple expectations that you can expect from us here at the National Office. So this is what you can expect from your account rep. Assistance with reimbursements. That's a tongue twister there. We would love 2 weeks notice if you plan on requesting a check for a pizza party or any event that you guys are having. So please, once again, that goes back to the communication. Please just make sure you're communicating regularly with your account rep. Marketing materials, flyers, pop-up banners, tablecloths, we are here to help with any of that promotion. So please reach out to us if you guys need help with an upcoming event, or if you guys need something to make your CPT booth really stand out at the next Student Organization Fair. Membership and recruitment tips and tricks. Email responses within 48 hours from us as well. Monthly contact calls, helping locating speakers in your area, and anything else you need to help maintain your Student CPT chapter. We are here to help you, so please, please, please do not feel free to reach out. Well, before we end, I would like to open it up for questions, and if you guys don't have any, that's totally fine. But I just want to reemphasize that we have these flash tracks to help out and to get you a little more familiar with some of the programming that we do have. So please join us next time. Our next one is going to be focused on selecting Campus Being a Difference Award winners. So we're going to be going through some of the criteria, looking at a snapshot of kind of the ideal award candidate, and a couple other things associated with the award as far as like the nomination process and whatnot. So that's going to be Friday, March 10th at 2, and you can register online. We look forward to seeing you guys there.